Okay, let's get back to the Steel Wheels CD. I'm going to start at the beginning of the song again because I left off right in the middle. Um, Hearts for Sale. It says, "My spirit is winging. My soul is free. I'm doing my drinking in good company. The music's screaming. My feet are flying. Everybody's laughing and nobody's crying. Sneak suspicion, it drags me down. A nagging feeling going round. Hearts for sale, going cheap. Hearts for sale, lovers leap. My belly's full, my glass is brimming. The women look so beautiful and I feel like singing. The voice of conscience, the voice of reason, is yakking in my plans. I call that treason." So this guy's surrounded by partying atmosphere. The women are beautiful, the music's playing loud, and everybody's laughing, nobody's crying. But he's starting to have a guilty conscience. And the voice of reason is interrupting his plans, and he calls that treason. Why? It's treasonous to be thinking about what's really wrong about their situation. And so you have to squash that down. I believe, like I said in my earlier talk on this, what's happening is it's in the midst of the tribulation, and these are the people whose job it is uh, to go find these people and round them up and put them in camps and uh, let's just continue. "I'm losing my willpower, my blood's running cold, my body's on pause, my mind's stuck on hold. There ain't nothing I can do about it." Remember what the Nazis said? I was just following orders. I had to do this. "I don't need no doctor, I need a deputation. You don't want my lovin', you can just take my resignation. I'm under the hammer, I'm a full-time worker, I'm a real body slammer." I think it kind of speaks for itself. Next song on the album is called "Blinded by Love." I didn't quote a lot of these lyrics on here because they sort of speak for themselves if you want to go and look it up. It mentions Samson and how he was blinded by love, his love for Delilah, and I think it speaks of the Laodicean church, the left behind church, that are blinded by the love of this world. The lyrics I did quote, it says, "Poor Mike Anthony's senses were drowned and his future was doomed. He was blinded by love. Now it's no use crying or weeping. You better lock up your soul for safekeeping. Careful now, don't lose your mind. Don't mortgage your soul to a stranger. Don't be blinded by love." Kind of speaks for itself. Next song is called "Rock in a Hard Place," and it seems to be the state that the world will find itself in general during the tribulation period. It says, "The fields of Eden are full of trash, and if we beg, borrow, and steal, we'll never get it back. People are hungry. They crowd around, and the city gets bigger as the country comes begging to town. Building dream churches with silver spires, and our rogue children are playing loaded dice. Give me truth now, don't want no sham. I'll be hung, drawn, and quartered for a sheep, just as well as a lamb." The reference here to dream churches suggests the official state-approved type that will all be based on lies and deceit. There will be a famine in the land for truth, that is, spiritual food, as well as for physical food. Next song is called "Can't Be Seen." It describes the way in which Christians will have to live in hiding to try and get by in a world where they are unable to buy and sell anything, having refused to take the mark. It says, "I just can't be seen with you. It's too dangerous. They set us up so they can shoot us down, put us 6 feet underground. It's just too deep for me, baby. It's too dangerous. It's just too dangerous, baby, even in the dark." Sounds like the situation that the people who won't take the mark will find themselves in. It can't be seen. Next is a song that when I first was getting this revelation, I didn't think this song fit in. I just thought it was a love song, being sad over the loss of a former lover. And I thought, well, you can't expect every song to be part of this, I suppose. The revelation of this came progressively. I didn't get it all at once. And so as I would keep looking at it, then I thought, oh my gosh, wait a minute. I can see where this would fit in. If you think in terms of this is the way those who are running and hiding, and as described in the previous songs, would be feeling about those who they saw disappear or who made it in. So I don't think it's a guy singing about the loss of a girl. I think it's the left behind saints uh, reflecting on the people that they knew got raptured. Listen to these lyrics. Um, it says, I can almost hear you sigh. I can almost hear you cry on every crowded street, all the places we would meet. What will I do without you? Well, they say that life goes on. I'm feeling sorry for myself. I can't believe you're gone. You acted much too calm. You turned on all your charm. You had a cold look in your eyes. Have you set me free, or will I wake up in the morning and find out it's been a bad dream? The next song is called Continental Drift. Here the theme seems to shift away from the Christians and to the nature of the planet as a whole. As you may know, the idea of continental drift is a relatively recent one in science. It includes the suggestion that all the Earth's continents were once joined as one great continent before they were split apart into the individual ones that we now have. Maps and charts have shown how they can all fit together. This song suggests that the idea of the Earth coming together as one people is as the continents coming back to being one. And it sounds sort of New Age. It says, love comes at the speed of light. Love comes in a strange disguise. Open the door and let the light pour over. Open the door, don't you keep me out. It's as pure as silver, it's as pure as gold. It's a rushing river. Let it run all over me. And then finally, Break the Spell. There's down to the last two songs. This one's called Break the Spell. The gypsy all dressed in white sounds like the Antichrist to me. It sounds like a financial transaction is dependent on whether someone has the mark in their hand at the time when food is scarce. Where it says, put my hand out, ask the question, here's the silver. And the words say, in the winter, when the cold comes, and the wind blows with a scornful spite, and the hard ground feels barren, and the forest is deathly quiet, and the whole world lies sleeping, there's a gypsy all dressed in white. Put my hand out, ask the question, here's the silver. Do you have the gift of sight? Can you break the spell? Can you ring the bell? It's cold, black as night. I've got a hard heart. In the springtime, when the floods come and the earth bursts with the terrible life, can you break the spell? It's cold, black as night. Finally, the last song is called Slipping Away, and this is an accurate way to depict the Antichrist's hold on the world. Satan will have great wrath, for he knows that his time is short. He will know that it is all slipping away from him. It says, guess it's just another dream that's slipping away. Every time I draw a breath, it's dying away. All I want is ecstasy, but I ain't getting much. Just getting off on misery. It seems I've lost my touch. Well, it's just another song, but it's slipping away. Well, we didn't sing it long, 'cause it's fading away. First the sun, then the moon. One of them will be round soon, slipping away. Okay. The CD title, Steel Wheels, itself, I think refers to the trains that will be a chief method of transporting prisoners to the concentration camps. I myself have seen photographs of boxcars with shackles welded into the walls and floors, and a text explaining how this was smuggled out of the place in Oregon where the workers wanted to know why these shackles were being installed, and they were told it was none of their concern. Also, I've noticed that there are a lot of repair work being done, and it's now complete, on railroads in my area, and in all areas, that have for many years been in non-use. Wonder why. The artwork for the CD is also very significant. It shows a series of wheels that look like eyes with a letter S between each one. Let's see if I can hold this up. If you put it kind of like that, it looks like eyes. And there's the letter S between each one, and a sawtooth blade type appearance to them. If viewed diagonally as a pair of eyes, one of the eyes doubles as a sunset scene, in which the sun is setting into the Black Sea, and the other looks like a sun rising up, but the sky remains black anyway, as though it's like a changing of the times and the seasons. And then below this set of eyes, there's another pair of eyes that seem to be hypnotized with the rings round and round it. Altogether, it seems to suggest a time of satanic rule in which good is cut off and evil reigns supreme, and all will come under the evil spell. And then I said, but it's only rock and roll, right? Um, well, that finally concludes what I wrote about the Steel Wheels CD itself. There's plenty of other CDs and albums that have significance to them. I might as well mention American Pie by Don McLean. There's a whole website you can go check out just about that particular song. But it turns out more than just that song seemed to be about this tribulation period. But the song American Pie by Don McLean, that's on this album, seems to be very significant. The other songs, if you look up the lyrics to all the songs on this album, I'm not going to do a whole thing on this one, but I'm just going to point you to it. You can check it out for yourself. There's one song that's called Everybody Loves Me, Baby. I think that's about the Antichrist. But the songs are American Pie, Till Tomorrow, Vincent, Crossroads, Winterwood, Empty Chairs, Everybody Loves Me, Baby, Sister Fatima, The Grave, and Babylon. You might want to check that one out and just see what you can make out of it. I mentioned before this album by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, Tarkus, which also happens to have like a very futuristic lyrics and stuff. That's probably enough for now. I might mention this book right here, though. I mentioned in an earlier video about Sting and the Police. This book here is called Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon. It's by a guy called David McGowan. And if you've ever wondered the connections between rock music and the powers that be, you really should read this book. It's quite an eye-opener. And it starts out with the Laurel Canyon bands of the 60s and 70s. And it takes you through all the intrigue and the connections between... you just got to read it. You can actually find his website, David McGowan's website, and it all started as a blog. He started this as a website, and it got to be so extensive, he decided it was worth putting into written form. And you'll find some interesting stuff about the new age, or new wave bands, I should say. The punk and new wave bands of the 80s were just a continuation of what was going on in the earlier bands. There's a connection you just wouldn't believe. I'll name some of the names, and I'll ask you, what does all these have in common? The Sex Pistols, The Clash, the Buzzcocks, the Cramps, Generation X, Cherry Vanilla, General Public, English Beat, Public Image Limited, the Flesh Tones, the B-52s, The Cure, The Police, Blondie, Television, REM, Patti Smith, Lou Reed, John Cale, Magazine, Simple Minds, The Specials, Wall of Voodoo, The Go-Go's, The Bangles, Joan Jett, The Blackhearts, or Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Echo and the Bunnymen, Psychedelic Furs, Joy Division, Bow Wow Wow, Gang of Four, Squeeze, Susie and the Banshees, Oingo Boingo, Adamant, Gary Newman, The Smiths, The Fix, A Flock of Seagulls, Bananarama, Sting, Thompson Twins, Katrina and the Waves, Lords of the New Church, Midnight Oil, Steel Pulse, Dred Zeppelin, Social Distortion, Human League, Soft Cell, Timbuk 3, Camper Van Beethoven, Circle Jerks, Dada, The Alarm, The Jesus and Mary Chain, The Plimsouls, The Ramones, The Stranglers, UB40, Suburban Lawns, Stan Ridgway, XTC, Concrete Blonde, Ultravox, and the Fine Young Cannibals. All of the acts listed above had something in common. In addition to being among the most critically acclaimed and commercially viable of the new artists, all of them owed their success, at least in part, to their association with one or more members of the Copeland clan. The Copeland family, of which Stuart Copeland, the drummer for the Police, you need to know more about who they were, why they were significant, and that's the last chapter in this book, okay? Before you get to that, you find out that just about everybody who came out of the 60s and the Laurel Canyon area had something else in common. That until you read this book, you really don't know what's going on in music, okay? So I'm going to end with that.